Have you ever felt like your relationship with your children has changed, perhaps not for the better? Maybe you're sensing a growing distance, or worse, you feel like the respect you once shared with them is slowly fading. This can be a painful realization, especially when you've spent your life guiding, caring, and supporting them. You might be wondering, what happened? Why don't they respect me the way they used to? If you're in this situation, I want you to know that you're not alone. Many parents and grandparents, especially as they age, experience similar feelings. The truth is, respect in any relationship, even between parents and children, takes work. It doesn't just come naturally, it requires understanding, patience, and sometimes a little bit of change on both sides. And while it may feel overwhelming at first, there's a way forward. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful ways you can regain the respect of your children, no matter the circumstances. These aren't just quick fixes. These are long-term strategies that will strengthen your relationship, help you understand each other better, and bring back that mutual respect. Let's dive in and take control of this situation. Let's start with the first way to regain that respect. Set boundaries. I know that setting boundaries might seem counterintuitive when you're trying to build closeness. You might think, isn't love supposed to be about freedom and no limits? But here's the thing, boundaries are actually a sign of respect. Setting clear boundaries helps both parties understand what's acceptable and what's not, which is essential in any relationship, especially when you're dealing with different generations, perspectives, and lifestyles. As you get older, it's important to assert yourself in ways that ensure your space, your time, and your needs are honored. This could mean anything from setting expectations around how often your children visit or speak to you, to defining what kind of language or behavior is unacceptable in your interactions. For instance, you could sit down with your children and explain that while you love spending time with them, you also need time for yourself. Perhaps you need more quiet or routine in your day. Or maybe there are certain topics or behaviors that make you uncomfortable. By voicing these needs, you're showing them that your comfort and well-being are important. This teaches them how to treat you with care and consideration, and it sets the tone for a more respectful dynamic. The second way to regain respect is to be consistent in your actions. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. If your children see you as unpredictable or unreliable in your words or actions, it can be harder for them to respect you. Maybe you've said something one day, and the next day, your behavior contradicts it. Children, no matter how old they are, look for consistency in their parents. They want to know that you mean what you say and say what you mean. Being consistent doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. It means living in alignment with your values and communicating clearly. If you've set boundaries, make sure you stick to them. If you've made promises, do your best to follow through. This shows your children that you are someone they can count on, someone who takes their responsibilities seriously. Let's take a simple example. If you told your children that you're only available for phone calls at certain times, stick to that schedule. It might feel a bit awkward at first, especially if they're used to you being more flexible. But by respecting your own needs and time, you teach them to respect them too. Over time, they'll appreciate your consistency, even if it takes a little while to get used to. Now that we've covered boundaries and consistency, let's talk about the third point. Show understanding and compassion. I know it can be difficult to understand your children when they're adults. They have their own lives, challenges, and priorities that might feel very different from what you experienced at their age. It's easy to judge their decisions or feel hurt when they don't act the way you expect. But here's the thing. Respect is a two-way street. To gain their respect, it's important to listen with an open heart. Try to understand their point of view, even if you don't agree with it. Ask questions without being judgmental. You might be surprised at what you'll learn about their struggles and fears. When your children feel that you truly hear them, their respect for you will naturally grow. Imagine this. Instead of reacting immediately to a disagreement, try saying something like, "I see where you're coming from. Tell me more about how you feel." This simple shift can open up a conversation where both sides feel valued and understood. It's not about agreeing on everything, it's about creating a space where both of you can express yourselves freely and respectfully. Now, we've discussed boundaries, consistency, and understanding. But these 3 steps are just the beginning. There's still much more to cover about how to reclaim the respect that you deserve. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll continue our journey and explore more ways to reconnect with your children and regain their respect in meaningful, lasting ways. But remember, the first steps we've discussed are the foundation. Setting boundaries, staying consistent, and showing empathy will get you on the right path. If you implement these steps with patience and care, you'll begin to see a shift in how your children respond. And most importantly, you'll start to feel more connected and respected by the people you love the most. Now that we've covered setting boundaries, being consistent, and showing understanding, let's dive deeper into the next 3 powerful ways you can regain the respect of your children. These strategies might challenge you a bit, but I promise you, with time and practice, they'll strengthen your relationship and help you reclaim the respect you deserve. Let's talk about the 4th way. Model the respect you want to receive. Sometimes, the key to getting respect is not in demanding it, but in demonstrating it. Think about it. How can you expect your children to respect you if they don't see respect in your actions? If you're always critical, dismissive, or impatient, your children may start to mirror that behavior. However, when you show respect in the way you communicate and behave, you set an example they're more likely to follow. Respect isn't just about how you treat them, it's about how you treat yourself, others, and even strangers. If you show respect in the way you speak to others, whether it's a neighbor, a friend, or even a stranger at the grocery store, your children will notice. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being mindful. Are you treating others with kindness and patience? Are you actively listening when someone speaks to you? Are you respecting your own boundaries and values? By modeling this behavior, you're teaching your children the value of respect, not just in words but in action. For instance, if you want them to treat you with kindness, be sure you're doing the same for them. If you want them to show appreciation for the things you do, start by showing them appreciation for the little things they do. It's all about leading by example. This brings us to the 5th way. Engage in open and honest communication. I can already hear you thinking, but what if they don't want to listen? What if they don't want to communicate with me? It's a valid concern, especially if you've already experienced communication breakdowns with your children. But the truth is, communication is not just about speaking, it's about creating an open channel where both sides feel safe to express themselves. The first step is to approach conversations without judgment. You're not there to criticize or lecture. You're there to listen and share your feelings too. When you start a conversation, try to frame it in a way that invites open dialogue. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I've been feeling disconnected lately, and I'd really appreciate it if we could talk about how we're both feeling." This kind of approach opens up a space for honest communication. Your children are more likely to feel heard and understood, and when they do, they'll be more likely to return that respect to you. Just as important, it gives you the opportunity to express your own feelings without pushing them away. Remember, this isn't about blame, it's about both of you understanding each other's perspective. Another important aspect of communication is being vulnerable. It's hard, I know, but sometimes showing vulnerability is one of the most powerful ways to reconnect with your children. When you share your emotions or admit your own mistakes, it humanizes the situation. It shows them that you're not perfect, and that's okay. When they see that you're willing to open up about your feelings, they may be more likely to do the same. This creates a deeper sense of mutual respect, where both parties can be honest without fear of judgment. Now that we've explored the importance of modeling respect and communicating openly, we come to the 6th and final way. Let go of expectations and embrace their growth. This one is tough for many of us. As parents, we often have a vision of how we want our children to be, how we want them to act, and what we want them to do. But the truth is, they are their own people with their own lives to live. And as they grow older, their perspectives, values, and priorities may shift, and that's okay. In fact, sometimes the hardest part of regaining respect is letting go of unrealistic expectations. If you're holding on to outdated ideas of who your children are supposed to be or how they should behave, it might be time to reevaluate. Instead of focusing on the small things that frustrate you, like their choices of lifestyle or career, try to appreciate the person they've become. Celebrate their accomplishments, support their growth, and let them know that you're proud of the person they are, not just the person you envisioned. This shift in mindset can be incredibly liberating for both you and them. When you stop holding them to a set of expectations and instead embrace their individuality, you free up space for a more authentic, respectful relationship. And here's the key. When they feel accepted for who they are, they'll start to respect you for the person you are too. They'll see that you honor their journey, and in turn, they'll honor yours. We've covered a lot so far: boundaries, consistency, understanding, modeling respect, communication, and letting go of expectations. These are powerful tools, but remember, this is a process. It takes time, patience, and a lot of effort from both sides. But here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this. Respect is earned, not demanded. By making small, intentional changes in how you relate to your children, you'll begin to see a shift. It might not happen overnight, but as you continue to apply these principles, you'll notice that respect starts to flow more freely in your relationship. In the next part, we'll tie everything together and talk about how you can maintain this newfound respect and build even stronger bonds with your children in the long run. But for now, remember, you're not alone in this journey. By focusing on mutual understanding and patience, you're already on your way to regaining the respect you deserve. Keep going. You're doing great. Now that we've explored the ways to regain respect through setting boundaries, being consistent, showing empathy, modeling behavior, fostering communication, and letting go of unrealistic expectations, let's look at how you can maintain this respect and build a stronger, more positive relationship moving forward. One of the most important things to remember is that respect is an ongoing process, not something you achieve once and then forget about. It's like a plant. You have to nurture it, care for it, and watch it grow. It might take time to fully rebuild the respect in your relationship with your children, but if you continue to work on it, you'll see the fruits of your labor. One way to keep respect thriving in your relationship is to make your relationship a priority. As life gets busy, it's easy for relationships to take a back seat. But if you want your children to respect you, they need to see that you respect the time and effort required to nurture your connection. Whether it's setting aside time for a phone call, planning regular visits, or simply checking in to see how they're doing, making your relationship a priority shows that you value them, and that in itself is a powerful way to keep respect alive. Now, I know that sometimes, even when we do everything right, our children might still act out or test boundaries. This can be discouraging, but remember, you can't control their actions, only your own. It's easy to get frustrated when they don't immediately respond the way we want, but it's important to stay grounded in your own principles. Keep the lines of communication open. Stay consistent with your behavior, and always give them space to grow. Sometimes, children act out because they are going through their own struggles. Just like how you were there for them when they were young, they still need that support as adults, even if it looks a little different now. Additionally, remember the importance of forgiveness. No one is perfect, and there might be times when your children fall short of your expectations or hurt you unintentionally. Holding on to past resentments or grudges will only create distance. Instead, practice forgiveness, not just for them, but for yourself as well. The act of forgiveness frees you from the weight of anger and disappointment, creating room for a deeper connection. One more thing: celebrate the small wins. Sometimes, The journey to regaining respect feels long and slow. You might not see immediate changes, but every time you have a meaningful conversation or set a boundary that sticks, that's progress. Don't get discouraged by the setbacks. Focus on the positive steps you're taking. As you move forward, I want to encourage you to remember this. You are worthy of respect. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you are in life. Your value as a person doesn't diminish with age. In fact, the wisdom and experiences you've accumulated over the years make you even more deserving of respect. If you've already been working on these strategies and haven't seen the full results yet, don't give up. Change takes time, and sometimes it takes your children a while to adjust to the new dynamic. But rest assured that you're laying the foundation for a more meaningful and respectful relationship. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. It's never too late to change your relationship with your children. Whether they're in their 30s, 40s, or beyond, the relationship between a parent and child is a lifelong journey. By applying the strategies we've discussed, you'll be taking control of your own role in that relationship, fostering a deeper, more respectful bond that will last for years to come. I'd also love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these strategies to rebuild respect with your children? What's worked for you, and what challenges have you faced along the way? Leave a comment below. I would love to read your thoughts and experiences. Lastly, don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Sharing your experiences and knowledge can help others who are in similar situations, so don't be shy about spreading the love. Remember, you have the power to transform your relationships. It's not always easy, and it might take a little time, but every small step you take is a victory. Keep working on it. Stay patient with yourself and your children, and soon enough, you'll see that respect return to your relationship. Here's to living your best life, at any age, and that includes having meaningful, respectful relationships with the people you love. At this stage, you've already learned valuable strategies to regain respect from your children. However, as you continue this journey, there are a few more insights I want to share that will help you solidify the respect you've worked so hard to rebuild, while also enhancing the bond with your children. Let's start with something essential: accepting your own imperfection. As parents and grandparents, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like we need to be perfect, especially when we're trying to set a good example. We've spent so many years guiding, shaping, and supporting our children that we may feel the weight of responsibility for their actions. But the truth is, you don't have to be perfect to be respected. It's okay to admit when you make mistakes. Being vulnerable and owning up to your imperfections shows that you're human, just like everyone else. In fact, showing your children that it's okay to be imperfect might even make them more inclined to respect you. After all, respect doesn't come from being flawless, it comes from being real. Imagine sitting down with your child, looking them in the eye, and saying, "I know I've made mistakes in the past, and I may not always have the answers, but I'm doing my best. I want to be better, and I want us to have a better relationship." When you share that level of honesty, you create an opening for deeper understanding. It's a powerful step toward building respect, not just through authority, but through emotional connection. As we've discussed, communication is key, and it's not just about talking, it's about truly listening. But let's also dive deeper into how active listening can transform your relationship with your children. You see, when we're communicating, it's easy to fall into the trap of simply hearing someone without really listening. Often, our minds are preoccupied with our own responses, judgments, or the need to defend ourselves. However, real listening is an act of respect. It's about giving the other person the space to express themselves without interruption, without immediately trying to fix things. It's about hearing their feelings and thoughts, validating their experiences, and acknowledging that what they feel matters. Active listening can be a game changer. You might be surprised at how a simple shift in the way you approach conversations, such as making sure your child feels heard, can make them view you with more respect. When you listen deeply and without judgment, your child feels valued and understood. That is the foundation of mutual respect. Now, let's talk about something that might sound a little daunting. Letting your child take the lead. For many parents, especially those who've spent years guiding their children, it can be hard to step back and let them take control of certain situations. You might feel like you should still be the one calling the shots. However, allowing your adult children to make decisions for themselves, whether it's in their personal lives, careers, or even family matters, can be one of the most respectful gestures you can make. Trust them. Trust their judgment. And, most importantly, trust that they are capable of handling their lives. This doesn't mean you should stop offering advice or wisdom when asked, but it does mean that you should empower them to take the lead. The more you allow them to step up, the more they will value your trust and, in turn, respect you for giving them the space to grow and make their own decisions. It's all about shifting the dynamic. As they age, they no longer need to be guided in the same way they did as children. Instead, you can become more of a sounding board or a supportive presence, offering wisdom only when they seek it. The respect that follows this shift is mutual. You're respecting their autonomy, and in doing so, you invite them to respect yours. Lastly, I want to emphasize the importance of celebrating the relationship you have, regardless of where it stands. Whether it's your relationship with one child or all of them, it's important to recognize the value they bring to your life. Celebrate the little moments. Celebrate the conversations, the shared memories, and even the quiet time spent together. Respect thrives in an environment of appreciation. When you make it a point to celebrate each other, whether through shared experiences, simple acknowledgments, or even a warm hug, you reinforce the connection that fosters respect. It's easy to get caught up in frustrations or misunderstandings, but when you focus on the positive aspects of your relationship, you're laying the groundwork for respect to flourish. Remember, building or rebuilding respect takes time. There will be ups and downs along the way, and there will be moments where you might feel like you've taken one step forward and two steps back. That's okay. Respect isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, consistency, and the willingness to grow together. So, as you move forward in regaining respect from your children, know that you have the power to change the dynamics. By embracing vulnerability, listening actively, stepping back to let them lead, and celebrating the value of the relationship, you are taking the necessary steps to build a lasting, respectful bond. I want to leave you with this final thought. Your relationship with your children is a lifelong journey, and every step, no matter how small, is progress. You have the wisdom, the strength, and the love to transform your relationship into one that's built on respect, understanding, and mutual appreciation. Thank you for being here. And I hope these strategies help you create the respectful, fulfilling relationship you've always wanted. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Remember, it's never too late to strengthen the bond with your children, and it's always worth the effort. Here's to living your best life and enjoying the relationships that matter most. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.